Hello everyone, my name is Sumana and in today's video I'll be speaking about the important qualities which are required to become a successful executive assistant. So I'll give you all pointers so that it's easier for you all to understand and get those points and note it down. It really is very helpful if you want to pursue a career in as an executive assistant or you're interested to get into this field or just like that, if you're already an EA and want to do better, then maybe this video is for you, right? So let's start off. I'll start with pointers. For becoming a successful executive assistant, if you want to stand out, there are few important qualities which you all need to have, right? Let's start one by one, and you all can note it down if you would want it, or just hear it out and probably just grasp it. Okay, so let's start. Okay, the very first and most important thing is to keep records. Okay, uh, document everything you do, right? So as an EA, in an everyday work life, I'll have tons of things to do, right? My boss will tell 4 5 things, he'll give me tasks to be done for the day or done over the week. So it's very important for me to remember. Okay, so as soon as somebody tells you like these are the tasks you have to follow, you have to make sure just keep that in your mind, and nothing stays in the head for long, right? So it's better to obviously note it down. So what I used to personally do is, in order to keep records, whenever somebody tells me something, I used to just record it. I used to keep it in my head for like some time, like 10 15 minutes, and then whenever I come back to my desk, I have my Excel sheets. I use Excel worksheets, and I start noting down everything in my Excel sheet, because that way I sort of remember whether I'm on track, what I have to do, if there are any backlogs. I'll know where I stand, right? So it's very important to keep notes. You have to also document everything as per preferences also. So you all must be working with a set of vendors or with a set of customers, or maybe there are 5 6 projects running in your team. It's important to actually list everything down, so that as and sort of write a little description about that, however suits you, so that whenever somebody asks you about that project, you will know whether it's on track, whether everything is going as per the set timelines, right? If you want to pick up a vendor which you worked with earlier and you found that person to be reliable and trustworthy, you want to go back to that vendor, you know where to find your notes. You have your sheets, and then you just have to go back to your sheet and note down the details. So it's very important to sort of document everything. Firstly, why? Because you won't forget, because as an EA you'll have like hundreds of things to do. It's not 10 things, it's 100 things. So it's very important to sort of have notes for everything, so that you don't forget. So the first thing in the morning when you come, the very first thing is you check your emails, and the second thing is you go back to your sheet and see what to prioritize for the day, and what not to prioritize. Maybe you can, which is not a high priority, maybe you can leave it and you can complete it in the next 2 3 days. But which is of high priority, you know what to do. You know that you have to complete it within this in the same day itself. So it's very important to keep records. Okay, as an EA, this is a mandatory requirement or a quality which you need to possess, right? Yeah. Second thing is, be very tech savvy. Okay, very technologically advanced, and in a way, because as an EA, you most of the times you need to help in presentations. Probably you have your monthly team presentations, and all of that, or anything. Maybe you're presenting it to a client, or the usual presentations which you have going on in your team. It's very important to sort of be very good with your Excel and PowerPoint, so that whenever you have to draft a presentation, you do it in the right way, in a very crisp manner, and in a set format, right? It's very important to be very creative also when you're using these PowerPoint presentations, because you add your creativity into it, and that's how you bring a difference into the in the presentation presentations, um, or Excel. You have to be very good with your Excel and PowerPoint, everything. You have to be very good in your MS Office, and it's obviously there sometimes when your boss actually does most of the presentation, and then he'll ask you to just cross verify and complete few of the other things, maybe 20% which is remaining. So you will have to actually double check whether whatever whether the presentation is right, or nothing is wrong. You have to cross verify it whether things are correct, technically, grammatically, everything. And also make sure that whatever you add has to be right, right. So that way you have to be very tech savvy as well. Okay, that's the second point. Third thing is, you always have to have a to-do list. Okay, so when I finish my day, so probably I end my day at 5 p.m. in the evening or 6 p.m., I make sure that before leaving office I have my to-do list ready for tomorrow, right? Or like maybe there'll be like 3 4 5 things or 10 things. Let me make keep that list ready, and let me just put it as a sticky note or whatever, or maybe you can put it in your phone as your notes, and just keep it ready, because the next thing is tomorrow, the first thing in the morning is you look at that list and you know what's your priority, right? So as an EA, right, as I said, you have multiple things to do. Unless you prioritize it, you end up spending time on things which are not really important, which has not much weightage, right? And you do not want to do that because you're wasting time in a way, right? So it's very important to prioritize. So if you have your to-do list ready, it sort of makes things very easier for you. You know what to work on, and you need to prioritize your tasks accordingly. So to-do list is the third point and a must, right? Fourth thing is, practice meditation, okay, or practice yoga or an exercise. It's very important. For me, I'm not much into yoga or meditation. I'm into working out. I like going to the gym. So it's different for different people, okay, but it's very important to do some sort of a workout. I think meditation, even for like 10 20 minutes a day, or if you're not into even working out, maybe you can play a sport, anything, whatever you like, maybe badminton. Just play for like 20 30 minutes a day. That sort of helps you keep calm under pressure, because as an EA, there are a lot of times when you went out, like you're like, dude, I have like three things, I have this, I have that, you're all the time, you start sulking. You don't want to get into that zone, right? You don't want to be like that. So it's very important to keep your calm, because no matter what, you will only have to do your job. There's no replacement for you, right? So you will have to do everything yourself. So no matter what, you have to like pat yourself and say that just calm down, because you will have to do it yourself any which way. So there's no need of panicking so much, right? Important to be calm and say to yourself that don't worry, this will be done. That's what I used to do to myself. Okay, I used to be like, don't worry, it'll be done. It's very important to do that, right? I remember, I was engaged last year sometime in the month of June July, and then I was off for a week. And that week I seriously, when I take leaves, I still manage to check my emails. But that week I just couldn't, because I was super busy traveling between cities, and it was difficult. But then after a week, what happened was, I had like the pile of emails in my email box, and there's so much of work left, so many backlogs, plus the current week I had equal amount of work. So if I would panic, that would be of no help, because nobody is going to, it doesn't matter, right? You will have to do your job yourself. So in those situations, it's important to keep your calm and not get frustrated, right? This job can bring a lot of frustration, so it's very important to handle that pressure and say that it's gonna be fine, right? So that's one thing. Fourth thing is, practice meditation or practice any workout or whatever exercise. It could be anything. Fifth thing is, be very tactful, okay? be honest and have direct communication. It's very important to what I mean by saying being tactful is be smart, be alert. Some situation could happen which you do not expect, okay, and you don't go like, oh my god, we didn't expect it. You can't be like that. You have to tactfully come up with a plan B and handle situations easily. I could give an example of a team, maybe a monthly presentation, and you have to organize the entire event for the company, and you have to sort of plan the logistics. But if something goes wrong, probably somebody didn't hear something and some miscommunication would have happened, you can't be like, oh shit, this is gone, nothing's gonna happen, it's a big event and blah blah blah. You can't do that. You have to be very calm and be tactfully handle the situation. Just come up with a plan that, okay, fine, this can't be possible. How can I make sure that still my work is not hampered and everything works smoothly? So you have to be tactful. You have to use your mind very, very, very well. I have to be really sharp that way, right? And have honest and direct communication. What I mean by that is always talk. Sometimes what happens is sometimes we goof up in things because we do multiple things, and that's when we make mistakes. Sometimes things are so many that sometimes these mistakes go hidden, right? But it's important to actually communicate it, that wherever you've gone wrong, just say, "Yeah, I've gone wrong and I'm sorry about that." Don't try to hide your mistakes, because you will not learn from it. I remember I used to not make mistakes, but sometimes I used to make little mistakes, some goof ups, and then it so happened that even I failed to realize that I made a mistake. So my boss told me about it, and then he was very cool about it. But then acknowledging that, okay, fine, you made a mistake, and making sure that you don't repeat it is a sign of honesty also, so that people will be like, okay, fine, she accepts it. She sometimes if you go into the defend mode, right? Oh god, I don't know, I didn't see that, only I didn't happen to hear it, I was not a part of that meeting. You can't give excuses. You have to just own it up and be honest and say that, yeah, it was my mistake. So you'll maybe that moment you might feel bad, but you will gain a lot of respect, and more than that, you will learn, so that, okay, fine, I made a mistake that day and I won't repeat it again. So that's very important. Okay, be honest. Always have direct communication, not just with your boss, with everybody else, your team. That's very important. With your team also, you have to have very good communication, right? So that's the thing. So my next point is about that, is about building relationships. Sixth point talks about building relationships and trust. Okay, uh, very important, or the most important thing is to build trust with your boss. I had made an earlier video on the role of an EA. So in that I had mentioned about building trust. How will you build trust with your boss? It's slowly, slowly build a rapport, and it trust can't be built overnight. Maybe you do smaller tasks, okay, and prove yourselves in that, and then your boss will trust you with bigger projects. So that's how slowly you build trust and relationships, right? And ask questions. That's something I used to do. I used to ask questions about different things, and that sort of made my boss also feel that she's very curious and ready to learn. So that kind of helps, and it actually builds your knowledge. I don't think you have to do it to please others. You have to constantly learn to actually fit in yourself today in the society, because everybody is like so learned over here, right? Everybody is smart. You need to fit in. You can't be like somebody who doesn't know. If you're sitting in a room, I have to be as good as the others. If you think, like, if it's a group of 10 people and you think you're the most intelligent person in that room, I think you should just walk out of the room. Then that means there's something wrong with you, right? Or the people there. So it's very important to always learn, and That process should never end. Okay. So that should keep happening. And also, how, as and when you build relationships with your boss, it sort of benefits you in every way possible. Also, not only with your boss, but as I mentioned, with your teammates also, you have to build very good relationships, because most of the time your boss doesn't have the bandwidth to, sort of meet or, talk to your team or spend time with them. So you're like the eyes and ears of your boss, right? Or on his behalf, you're the super CEO sort of a thing. If you're an EA to a CEO, you're like the super CEO. You're like the shadow of your boss, right? So you sort of become the eyes and ears of your boss. You sort of address the concerns what the team faces, talk to them very casually, very candidly, and try and understand what are their concerns. Maybe they are having problems within the team. It could be as trivial as maybe they're not happy doing a particular role. They want to like learn a different get into a different domain. It could be that, it could be not getting along with their immediate boss, it could be just like they want something, maybe it's too hectic, they want a refresher. It could be anything, you just it could be any problem, right? You need to sort of understand what are the concerns. Try and address that. Maybe you can discuss it with your boss, as I mentioned in my earlier video. In your team meetings, in your one-on-ones, you can discuss it and come up with a very creative solution, or come up with a plan which actually helps the entire team. If you see it's a common problem, maybe you can come up with a generic solution for that. And be very creative. Don't do what other people are doing. Try and do something different for your team. That sort of also proves how different you are, how creative you are. So that's very important. Okay, building relationships is very important, and it sort of helps you everywhere. Networking is like the best thing ever. Like, they you probably are not there, but they still know you, right? So that's important. Okay, next, seventh point is lead by example, right? You're like the shadow of your boss, you're in a way representing your boss. It's very important to be presentable, have a very strong personality, and dress up well, talk well, have good communication with everybody. Because whatever you show, it's just a reflection of how your boss is. So it's very important to lead by example, and people should follow you, they should get inspired by you. They should you should sort of reflect or rub your positivity over others, right? If some people in your team are unhappy, you have to like try and make them happy, and like talk to them, make them feel better, so people will be like, what, she's really nice, she just made me feel good. So those kind of things, these are little things, but it really, really helps. Like, you should really do that. You should talk to your team. That also, even you get to learn a lot. Like, you kind of understand what they're working on, what are their struggles, and stuff like that. It's very important, right? And leading by example also means that handling difficult people well. As an EA, there'll be different teams which you'll be talking to. There are some people who won't be very cooperative, there are some clients who are not very cooperative, some people don't show professionalism. It's important that no matter others show or not, you have to be very professional. You have to handle difficult situations very well. Take it like a pinch of salt, be very professional. Somebody is harsh to you, rude to you, you don't have to be rude to that person. Even if it's your fault, very subtly, you definitely don't have to take it, but you have to very subtly put your points in the right forum, right? And in the right manner. Very important to do that. Be very professional. Don't get into like small talks. Doesn't help. So very important to lead by example, so that others look up to you, they follow you, and they come up to you for different things, right? um, Next point is anticipate needs. Okay, understand what your boss might look out for, right? He might need you for anything, probably there are some things which he needs. Okay, maybe he doesn't tell, but you have to be smart enough to sort of understand that what are his needs. You have to sort of anticipate it. And even in like before any team meetings, whatever the agenda is, make sure like the important stakeholders are a part of the meeting, nobody is missing out on that. Make sure if things are within the set timelines, it has to be done. Nobody will tell you twice thrice that why is it not done. It is your job to make sure things are done on time. If there are certain if anything, if there is an event which has to organized, and understand what are the needs of your boss for that event. You don't have to wait till somebody tells you. Okay, you have to do things before the other person tells. So that's a good EA, right? You have to understand what during even your team lunches, your conferences which are organized, whatever your work is like, which you do normally for every team. Maybe you organize that, you organize lunches for your team, you organize you plan the budget, everything. It has to be done yourself, nobody has to tell you that. And if you have to coordinate with the finance team for budget and everything, you have to do it yourself. You can't expect your boss to keep coming and telling you, oh, this is a new event and you have to, this is the budget. You know already, right? So you have to there's no reiteration required from your boss. It's just that you have to do it yourself. So you have to sort of anticipate things and plan it accordingly. You have to be very, for that you have to understand. And it really happens sometimes in the 1 or 2 meetings you actually get a gist of it, but after a few months, after you spend time with your boss, you eventually understand everything and you sort of learn this yourself, right? Very important point, anticipate needs. The ninth point is find time for yourself. As I told, you have a 24/7 job. There are times when you feel very claustrophobic, so it's very important to make time for yourself, like an hour a day when you spend time planning things for yourself outside work. And do anything you like a hobby maybe, or watch TV, or maybe just going out shopping with your mom or your friends, whatever, or just going and chilling for a drink. This is very important, because it's sort of I always believe like you should like give yourself a break and pamper yourself, because that sort of energizes you and helps you do better in the tasks and the work you do. That's what I personally feel. I think a lot of people can relate to it, because when you have a very hectic day or hectic few months when you worked on a project and then you get tired, it's very important to take a vacation. Now you can't take vacation every day, so instead of that you spend some time on yourself, trying to understand yourself and do whatever you like to do, right? Last point is continue to grow and learn, face challenges yourself. Okay, as I mentioned, learning is very important, right? You can learn from books, you can learn from newspapers, you can learn from your parents, you can learn from the people around you at work, you can learn from everyone. Okay, um, it's endless, and you have to keep learning, because that's the only thing which will take you far, right? And stay updated, right? Like I always tell everyone, it's very important to keep yourself updated about the things happening around you. And face challenges every day. As an executive assistant is a challenge, it's a new day, it's a new experience. There are new thrills, right? It's fun, so take it in a positive way and face those challenges. Just you have to, whenever there's a challenging thing coming, right, you should be like, I'm going to learn from this. I know it's going to be difficult, but I'll learn from this. And the second thing is, you can teach others also, right? And somebody is stuck, and then you'll be like, you know what, I had faced a similar challenge, and this is what you can do. That way, it kind of gives you also some sort of happiness that I'm teaching somebody else, or I'm helping somebody else. Like, for me personally, it gives me so much satisfaction when I can help someone who where I think I have a little greater knowledge. It really, really makes me so happy. So I think you have to do that, learn and face challenges yourself, and it'll just help you in the longer run, right? So these are the 10 most important qualities of an executive assistant. If you have these qualities, I'm sure nobody can stop you from becoming a successfully, and then you can have a very good career as an EA, and you can have very good progression as well. Yeah, that's all for today, and thank you for watching my video. If you have any queries, please feel free to post on the comment section, and if you want me to create content on a particular topic or subject, please do let me know. um, yeah, pretty much managerial subjects. That's what I work on and I'm interested in. And yeah, thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. So yeah, thank you and have a nice day. Bye.